Thank you very much. I can't begin to tell you how thrilled we are to have you here. Welcome to Kingston. I hope it hasn't been too trying a day for you.
Well, it's been a wonderful day. The weather has been spectacular, and I've had a lot of very enjoyable meetings with old friends and new. Yeah, there's been the odd demonstration to liven things up, but nothing out of the ordinary.
You are the Premier of Ontario, after all. I have a friend.
Yeah.
Edgar Babcock is his name. He works in the kiosk in the parking garage across from Hotel du Hospital. I was talking to Edgar yesterday, and I said, Edgar, if you could ask the Premier of Ontario one question,
right,
what would it be?
Right.
Edgar thought for a second. He said, ask him if he buys lottery tickets. Well, do you?
Very rarely.
But you do?
Occasionally.
Well, now listen.
Why did he want to know that?
He wants to know, if you win the $2.5 million in the Ontario lottery on Saturday night, can we expect a phone call from you on Sunday morning from the Caymans saying, you're on your own, folks?
No, I do it. It's a kind of voluntary tax, I think. I don't do it expecting to win, but occasionally feeling I should participate in a good cause.
Well, we all contribute.
That's right.
That's the idea.
That's right.
But, you know, billions of dollars in this country are spent on lotteries.
Yeah.
We have got a serious deficit problem. I'm speaking partially tongue-in-cheek here.
Right.
Have you or your government ever, you know, in one of these weekend retreats, ever thought to yourself, why don't we run a lottery to get rid of the deficit?
Well, frankly, we've got a lottery going. I don't know how we could gear it up to raise more. The thought of how do you use the lotteries to raise more money is occasionally we do have these revenue discussions of that kind, as you can imagine. But I mean, I think there really is. There's a saturation point. I mean, the fact of the matter is there's only so many you can run and only so much money you can raise.
Right.
But it's interesting, you know. We raise. A couple of things people probably don't realize. We raised nearly $500 million, about nearly $500 million from the lotteries.
Oh, it's an amazing amount.
It's a lot of money.
And
that's
of course,
for us.
and you hear people saying, I mean, none of us are going to sit down with the Ontario Lottery Corporation balance sheet, but everybody says, or frequently you hear people say, where does the money go? And you know, we do know that it goes to arts groups and it goes to parks and it goes to arenas and stuff like that. But you said it a moment ago, $500 million.
Yeah.
Incredible amount.
It is, but I mean, if you look at it goes to the General Revenue Fund. If you look at our budgets and so on, I mean, you know, I could take you through, you know, what's the budget of various art galleries and the budgets of the tourism ministry and the recreation part of the ministry and so on. It all adds up. Plus a lot of the good work we're doing on our hospitals and healthcare system, which costs us about $17 billion. So we need to run, in order to pay for the people, say, why don't you use the lottery to pay for the healthcare system? We'd have to raise 34 times as much as we earn from the lottery.
I got the calculator going.
34 times as much as we earn from the lottery to pay for healthcare for a year.
Yeah.
So it's frankly it's an important source of revenue, but when you compare it to everything else, it's not as much as we need.
Right. Now, again, before we get down to some of the heavier topics that you've been confronted with here in town today,
right,
without saying exactly where it is, you do have a summer place in Eastern Ontario.
Yes, I do.
So did you have a good summer?
First of all, I mean, I've always thought that it's curious. I don't know how Eastern Ontarians feel, but I am an Eastern Ontarian. I was born in Ottawa. My parents still live there. My mom and dad retired in Ottawa. We've been cottaging nearby, as they say, for
up the Rideau,
40
or down
years,
the Rideau.
40 years. And my brother and sister both went to Queens. Used to come here a lot, Kingston, visiting family. My wife's aunt was married to Maury Smith, who was S&R. He was Smith and Smith and Robinson. We have lots of family here, cousins and relations. So this is a part of the.
You don't feel a stranger
I
in the
love
Kingston
it.
area.
I love it here, and I feel very much at home here.